Hey everybody, it's March 9, 2012, and today I'm going to be upgrading the Cube Computer MidTower Deluxe. It's been a while since I got this thing cleaned out. It's been, who knows how long, it's been a pretty good while. This thing is extremely heavy, and it's in a hard spot to get to, and there's a whole bunch of connections on the back, so that's why I dread unplugging it and taking it out here, but it has to be done once in a while, and I'm definitely going to do it before I take the motherboard and stuff out to replace everything and get it upgraded, because I don't like working with dirty computers. But anyways, I'm going to have a look here at the dust that's in this thing. It is absolutely filthy, if you can notice here, but a whole lot of dust built up in the bottom of the system. Pretty considerable amount in the fans. There's even dust collecting to the hard drives. Dust all over these coolant lines. This fan here is filthy. This graphics card's got built up on it. Normally I don't let my computer get this dirty, but in this case I kind of did because, like I said, I was just telling you, it's real heavy and it's hard to get out here. And of course I don't like blowing out inside the house because that disperses the dust into the house, and I have allergies, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so looking at the power supply, and I think about half a year or so ago I replaced the fan in this power supply with a better one. This blue LED fan, and it's already got a considerable amount of dust in it too. Let's see, the water block is so dirty you can barely see the channels inside of it. This thing is overdue for a cleaning. Enough said. Let's have a look at the back. Power supply is getting pretty dirty. The exhaust fan's got a lot of dust in it. But surprisingly enough, this thing still ran very cool. I mean, it didn't overheat or anything. Of course, if it was air cooled, it probably would have. Here's the radiator. And these fans here only stay on, I only cut these on sometimes when I need excessive cooling. These fans here though, on this side, a lot of channels are starting to get blocked up a little bit, which I've actually cleaned these out a couple of times, so they would have been a lot worse if I hadn't taken my paintbrush and cleaned those channels out where I can get air through. So anyways, let's fire up the compressor and begin cleaning this thing out. Okay, compressor's charged up, so let's go ahead and let the dust fly. It's gonna look like a smoke show. I'm gonna cover my nose and mouth because this stuff is bad on my allergies. Now watch, I'll probably jump when this compressor comes on. It's pretty loud. I'm gonna cut off because I don't think I want it to charge up anymore just to keep this thing cleaned out. Only like is the radiator will be pretty much through. Good enough. Now, go ahead and look at it now. So much cleaner. Now let's go over a quick overview of what's currently in the machine in its current state. Right now it has an MSI 870A-G54 so-called military class motherboard. I don't think that's military class, and you don't even have any sort of cooling on the only 4+1 phase power supply system. And installed is the AMD Phenom 2 quad-core 965 Black Edition processor. I had it running at 3.8 gig with just a multiplier overclock. And here's this Thermaltake Big Water 735 water block come out of the kit. And of course here's the pump and the res to that system. I just kind of made it more or less a custom system with an AC evaporator as a rad with a push-pull fan design. These fans here stay on all the time, and whenever I need extra cooling, I cut these 4 fans out here on. And it's worked really well. And it has Fluid XP Plus non-conductive cooling in it. And about this Thermaltake block again, the performance of it is very disappointing. As you can see, it's just a channel. This channel is back and forth through the block. The coolant doesn't really do a good job of. I mean, the coolant itself, but I mean the block itself doesn't seem to do a very good job of dispersing heat into the coolant. So this water block is getting replaced with a Heat Killer 3.0 LC, which is a whole lot better than this. This machine has 12 gigs of RAM installed, G-Skill Ripjaws DDR3 1600. Right there is a Northbridge chip heatsink I installed. I replaced the crappy stock one and put this Salmon on there. I've had this Salmon cooler for several years now. It looks good and performs very well. And up top here we have my TV tuner. It is a Win TV, I think HVR 1250MC, and below that is the really old ATI Radeon HD 3450 graphics card. I purchased this card back in December 2008. This is on its second motherboard. It was on a whole different platform at first. It's been through this graphics card has been used in 3 CPU setups. First it was used on a dual core, then it was switched over to a quad 905E, then switched over to this 965. And it's time for it to get replaced. I'm replacing that with a Radeon HD 6750 with a gig of RAM. And oh yeah, this card here only has 256 megabytes on it, so it's incredibly low. The motherboard's getting replaced too. It's getting replaced with the ASRock 890FX Deluxe 4, which has the IDE on board and actually has a floppy controller on board, so I can still use a floppy drive because I do actually need it once in a while, and it's good to have. And my optical drives are on IDE, so I didn't want to have to replace those too, and it costs extra $30 to $40. And anyways, like I say, this board's getting replaced with the ASRock motherboard, and the ASRock board is incredibly nice. I actually unboxed the components, and that's in a different video where I do a run through of the components themselves. And anyways, for storage, I have 3 hard drives in it right now. These two here are Seagate 7200.12 500 gig hard drives in a RAID stripe, and up here is a Western Digital Green Power 1 terabyte hard drive as a backup drive. Windows 7 automatically creates a system image to this drive on Sunday at 7 in the afternoon of every week. So it does the job really well, but of course I was really looking for better performance out of CPU and graphics, and I wanted a better motherboard that was more reliable for overclocking, and of course a better water block to keep the CPU cooler to get better overclocks. And this computer is about to get all the stuff I want. And I'm going to talk about my water cooling system a little bit. On this machine, I used to air cool this thing, and with the 965 Black Edition CPU, the interior temperature of this case got extremely hot because that CPU just puts out loads of heat. And I used to have a big old Sunbeam Silent Whisper heat pipe core installed, and even after lapping and everything, that thing would get so hot, the whole cooler would get so hot. And even after putting a different fan on it, the whole cooler would just get so hot. So I had to switch to something else. So I first switched over to a Corsair Hydro Series H50 cooler, which is a self-contained water cooling system. And 3 months later, back in March of last year, at the Google Computer Works store, they had a tower in there, a parts tower that had this Thermaltake Big Water 735 water cooling system in it. And the only thing wrong with it was the fan on the radiator was seized up. And I still got the stock radiator to the system too. And I tried that, and I wasn't really satisfied with how it performed, so I switched over to this big radiator. And surprisingly enough, it still didn't perform that well because of this sorry water block. So once I get that replaced, it should perform a whole lot better. And here's the power supply. It's a Sunbeam Case Gears Eco Element 650 watt power supply. It's a 80 plus unit, and it has two 12 volt rails at 25 amps apiece. 5 volt rails 25 amps. 3.3 volt rails also 25 amps. It has plus 5 volt standby rail 2.5 amps. This unit runs very cool and very quiet. And like I said, I changed the fan out in it about half a year ago. All it came with was a standard black fan. I wanted something with LEDs in it because it looks a lot better, so I installed that. And this fan here pushes a little bit more air, so it keeps the power supply even cooler. On the front end, we have a DVD-ROM drive and a DVD burner with LightScribe. And these faceplates come off of eMachine's computers years ago. And this drive here is a stock eMachine drive, and the one below it is not. I just managed to switch the faceplate over. That's why it don't say LightScribe on it, but it's a LightScribe drive. And I had this funny sticker. I got this off a piece of software a couple years ago. It says security device enclosed. I figured I'd stick it on there just for the heck of it. And down here, I made my own little extra set of USB and FireWire ports. And here's a temperature readout. We got hard drive temperature here and coolant temperature over here on the left. And just to give you an idea how sorry that water block in this thing was performing, even under load, I would barely ever see the coolant temperature increase. And that was very disappointing. So with this Heat Killer 3.0 block, we should get better performance. And there's the old floppy disk drive. Yeah, I still use this thing every once in a while too. That's why it's important to have. There's still a floppy disk in it. And down here we have my card reader. This is a Rocketfish from Best Buy. It has the SC high capacity, CF, MS Pro, MS Duo, all that kind of stuff, and a micro SD slot. So that way you don't have to use an adapter. But when you have a micro SD card installed here, you can't use this. You can't use them both at the same time, but still pretty neat though. And this case here is called a Zoside Ecstatic 2, and I bought this case back in 2007, back in May 2007, when I first built the MidTower Deluxe. And this computer has come a long way. Just to give you an idea of where this thing started, the first setup in this thing was an Intel Pentium 4 Socket 478 with integrated graphics, Intel 845G, and only on 160 gig hard drive. This computer has come a long way. And I'm not going to actually count how many different motherboards I've had in this thing, but this thing has been upgraded several times over the years. You see, it went from it had two Intel 478 setups. It also had an AMD 754. I then upgraded that to an AM2, which I then installed an AM3 processor on, and then I upgraded the whole system to this. So it's been through quite a few upgrades. And anyways, let's go and have a look at the back here. The motherboard itself has a PS2 port, SPDIF out. Still actually has a serial port. It has 6 USB 2.0s, 2 USB 3.0s, gigabit LAN, good audio. No, I'm not sure how many channels. I don't quite remember. There's a TV tuner, graphics card, modem, FireWire, and down here at the bottom is my extra gigabit LAN port. And funny to note, but look at that thing I got installed. It says Dell on it. Just for laughs, I installed that. But anyways, that was me cleaning this thing out and a little overview of the specs. I'll try to give you an update on this thing as soon as I can. You know, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask.